Oh, is there anybody who'd like to start?
Do I need to come up here?
No. Yeah, you're on television.
I'm here. This question I would like an answer to is, this is for Darren. Do you guys have in place records management retention digitally? Do you have a way to scan all your stuff that you do in the office and preserve it rather than, you know, faded paper 5 years from now in a box somewhere? I mean,
almost every document we have is already scanned. It has been since 2009.
okay, so it is scanned. You have a record retention. All your bank statements and everything is scanned. Everything that you
The bank statements aren't scanned, but we have all of those records. We have every piece of paper from the last 20 years.
Okay, so my question to you would be is, do you have, the county, I'm sure, you know, has a scanning. I know that from employers that I work with, they have a scanning process so that every month their stuff is scanned into software, to the cloud, or whatever software program they have. And it just works better if you have to go back a year rather than dig in a box. So my question is, do you have anything like that in place? Because I know that in the vault that you have is small, and there's a lot of old documents. Are they scanned and preserved digitally? Because they weren't when I left.
Right. No,
So-
all of the old original burial records, because everything is linked it's uploaded to the cloud. So we have paper copy, we have digital copies on our server here. There's a copy on the cloud.
Okay. Well, I was concerned about if there was a process in place for record retention,
Yep.
for preservation.
Yep.
Okay.
Hello, Ben Becker, Ward 1. I have some concerns about the Energy Capital Economic Development claiming credit for businesses that they didn't necessarily attract or so originally they always cited Visionary and L&H as examples of things they can do, but those companies existed prior to Energy Capital Economic Development and were already very successful prior to them. So they're actually examples of what our community can do without Energy Capital Economic Development. Currently, they're
And is there?
oh, I thought you weren't going to interrupt during this time.
I
Anyways,
just wondered if there was a comment for the board.
oh yeah, this is for the board. You guys are involved in contributing to economic development outside of the purview of the cemetery district, but you're using our taxpayer money to do that, and so that this comment is related to that. So that Energy Capital Economic Development also claims credit for BWXT. Which hinges entirely on a $100 million grant from the state. If they don't get that grant, they'll go to Tennessee. If they do, they'll come here. So Energy Capital Economic Development can't necessarily claim credit for that. Government contribution to economic development can displace private activity and be influenced by political forces, leading to inefficiency and greater concentration of economic control. We don't want economic control by the government. We don't want to go down that road. And I know it's a step towards that. Like when the more we contribute from the government, the more it displaces private activity and leads to government control economy, which is unfortunate feature of communist governments. And I don't think it's your place. I don't think it's the county's place either, but there are some arguments that the county can benefit from contributing to economic development. I don't see any arguments that the cemetery contributing benefits the cemetery. The mill levy, as you keep mentioning, you can already adjust it up or down without contributing to economic development.
Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Rolf Ahrens. First, I want to thank you guys for having us here. Do appreciate the transparency. I was really pleased to see the discussion that we just saw about the plots. It was really well done, every one of you. The only concern I had, and just a concern, a general thing, I'd love to see the cemetery doing cemetery stuff. It is a beautiful cemetery. My only request, suggestion, comment as you requested, stay focused on the cemetery. Please, I know that's your primary role, and I'm stating the obvious. There was the letter that you circulated, sir, and you said you'd rather spend the $2 million on ECED. I love seeing you guys focus on the cemetery, and it really shows what you just did for our veterans. It's really awesome, so I'd like to see your time go there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
My name is Patricia Birch, and I just had a few questions. I'll keep it simple. I just like kind of a big picture of what direction you're taking us. It seems to be getting more liberal and more liberal, where all those dead little kids are buried up the hill. Looks like a playground. We're having parties in the park. How liberal, instead of a Jesus outside welcoming everybody, we got a big horse. I know it's Wyoming, but I think that's very inappropriate, and I'm wondering how far are you guys going to go with this liberal stuff? And I wonder if you're telling the people that are buying plots up there what they're getting into, because you didn't meet. I'd have never bought plots up there had I known what was going to go on. And I think it's shameful. Personally, I think it's sacrilege. I want to know where rest and peace comes in. Which way you're going. It's just so liberal, and now you're investing in out of cemetery things. Why? What's enough? It's not enough for you like it was. It's just like everything else. We need more people. We need more this. No, we don't. We don't need to compare with Denver. You went to Denver and someplace had this and turned it into a park. It's not a park. When is enough for you guys? It's a cemetery. Have respect for it and sanctity for it. One other question. I was wondering, I know you quit having the beer. Are they getting to bring their own in the coolers? Is it behind our backs now? Are they bringing beer up there for the deals?
Thank you, Pat.
Like I said, I'd like to see some Christian statues. Jesus is nice. I don't know why we got a big horse. Put him back on Gurley. Gurley like it. I love it. Okay, thank you. But please explain your direction. How much we got? I talked to people with little kids buried where you have all those big rusted things looking like a playground. Is that, your kid will never play on a playground. They hated it. They absolutely hated it. So I don't know who you're talking to, but the people I talk to don't like it.
Thank you. Any other?
Excuse me, my name's Steve Bricker, and I just have a question about your sound system. Is there any way you guys can make those microphones past each one when the person is talking? I wear hearing aids. I know it's hard for me, but I've heard other people here say we can't hear you when, like Eric, if you happen to say something. Is there any way that you guys could look into maybe improving that or passing the microphone back and
Darren,
forth
we have a microphone system.
so we could hear you better?
Yeah, but it's just a single two, there's just two.
Other than that,
Is there only
thank
two
you.
of them? Okay. I thought there were more. I thought there were more than that, but we can certainly.
Yeah, we'll look into that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheryl Lomhoff, Gillette. Well, I listened to the 2.5 hours of the audio from the last meeting. So I picked out some things that I wanted to look into. So, Mr. Chairman, my comment is in response to one of the board members stating that they had fulfilled all the requirements in regard to submitting the annual financial statement as outlined in the cemetery board bylaws. And he said that he went to the elections office, and when he filed for office, he fulfilled all the requirements. That's not your bylaws. Your bylaws specifically state each board member should submit an annual financial statement and repeat the oath of office yearly, every year. The purpose of the annual financial statement is to cite income sources as to avoid the appearance of conflict of interest. So you don't have to say how much you make, but declare every place you get an income, and it's for your own protection, so that you avoid conflict of interest. So if you don't want to abide by your own bylaws, you need to change it. And I did read 14 days notice, 2/3 majority, you can change them, but you should abide by your own bylaws. So I think that should be done. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other, Ed?
Ed Sisti, and I'd just like to reiterate what I said the last time I came, and that is that we're here to be your friends, and we'd like to see this public comment time be very productive. And so I really would love to see you get ahead of this issue of giving money to nonprofits and really act on it quickly before other entities get involved. We hear things, and we're here as your friends. So please consider this. This is not, you're not giving 1% money out. You're giving your monies that the taxpayers have paid in and haven't really volunteered to do it. So please keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comment?
Yes, I, as Mr. Sisti has mentioned, that we are all friends, and I would like to think that, but I will share with you all that in just 4 weeks, I've received 2 threatening phone calls. 2 threatening phone calls. One of which claims to be part of this group. This group of individuals, not that you're any particular collective, but with the nature of saying things better change or else. I received another one on October 17th. It was a phone call from an unknown caller. The other one I just mentioned, which was this morning from an unknown caller. The one on the 17th, the person asked if I was Eric Burgess with the Campbell County Cemetery Board. I said yes. Who am I speaking with? And before I got the word with out, they cut me off. They said, just listen, there better be $25,000 removed from the cemetery budget by the next meeting or else. Caller hangs up. This morning, coming into this meeting, I was feeling good about our discussions and the things that we're doing to progress. This morning, caller. All I did was say, hello, Eric? I said, speaking. Caller, our group will be in attendance at your meeting, make changes or else. And they hang up. I don't know who that is, and if you guys happen to know who that is, please deter them. I'm not
what
doing.
Group are you talking about?
I'm sorry. I see. That's the thing. I don't know. Okay. They just said our group would be in attendance, and I'm like, I don't understand what that group is. You guys are a group of citizens. You're not representing an organization.
No.
You're a group of Gillette citizens. So I'm not sure what the group is, and I probably would have tried to ask, but I also didn't want to get into a, pardon my language, a match with them about who they were, what they were. I want to be friends. I told you guys at this last meeting that I care about what happens in this community. I'm in this with you guys, as is this table of people. Sorry, Steve, I didn't mean to strike you in the head there. And you, as Mr. Sisti asked, you guys have been heard. we're having discussions, we're talking about things. Just, just casual conversations that we want to bring back to these meetings. And it hurts. I don't get paid to do this. I'll declare all of my frickin' money to you with no issues. I have no problem with that. I'm not getting any kind of kickbacks. I'm not getting anything back. I'm trying to give back to my community. And if there's some things that we feel we're doing wrong, then we apologize for that and we'll work to try to fix that. But don't threaten me. If anybody happens to know who the individual is, please correct it. Because it sucks.
And I'd like to add on, there was some pretty significant mocking, very disrespectful to, I personally, so I'm going to say it, to Steve Ehrman while he was trying to speak. And I found that repulsive, that someone would mimic and make fun of someone that has contributed to this community for that long, and for Eric to get threatening. I have family I could be with, I have other community projects I can be with. Bring it. We are all community members. That was a shock how this all started, like out of left field. I felt like this board was very, I prided myself on the board members that sat here and we talked about different things and we vote on things. We have budget hearings. We discuss them, and that's when all of these items should be brought up. I am very happy that people are showing up. We haven't had to use microphones because no one has showed up. I just hope that people that show up can see that we are very active, passionate community members that want to serve our cemetery, our community, the best way that we can. So I just ask for leave the anger at the door and bring in your comments. There's not one evil person on this board.
I want to thank you all for what you do. As a member of the school board, I know exactly what you're saying. We didn't get paid, and when I went through the things that I did with the school board, I got messages left on my machine at home, awful messages, and it isn't right. I don't know why anybody would do that, and I don't see anybody here that, not that I know everybody, but I don't see anybody here doing that. It more sounds like somebody who's too fearful to make their presence known. But I want to say one thing. I think the reason why people are starting to come to meetings, and I'm just using this as an example, is what happened in New York last night. We're all really concerned about our country. And it's not just our county, it's the country. We're seeing things be very lopsided, and I think it's making a lot of us realize that we need to be more active in our own communities. Because New York doesn't give a care what's going on in Gillette. We do because we see, but we just need to be, I think people need to be showing up at these meetings. And I want to tell you, I appreciate all of you that are sitting on these boards. And believe me, when I was told to run, or I was asked to run, they said it's just one meeting a month. No, it isn't. And I ended up, I'd be going out of town and whatever. It's a big job, and I appreciate all that you do.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me say one more thing. I really appreciate it. Maureen, I totally agree with you, 100%. And I believe things got out of hand the last time. I'll be the first one to admit it. Things directed at Steve. Eric, I am sorry about any threats that you got. Gotten them myself. And I will tell you that I am totally against that. And I will say also, I think someone is trying to stir the pot. I won't say who, but I know last month I was written up in an article that was published in this community that said that I said that I am a member of John Patriot, a right-wing extremist group. That means I'm a Nazi. That offends me. Might as well shoot me too. We're your friends. And the people that made those threats are not here.
Thank you.
Anybody else that wants to speak? If not, I brought up the nonprofits. I've had a problem with that for a while. And I have brought that up for the last 3.5 years. And I also brought up the marketing situation with the marketing committee. And the main reason is I brought that up at the last meeting, and I wanted it to be a public thing because I wanted the public to know that this is how we spend their money and what do they think of it. The 3 nonprofits that I was concerned about, that we deal with: Economic Development, Chamber of Commerce, and Happy Girls. And to me, none of them have anything to do with cemetery business. Now, Darren brought up the American Legion. So, well, my point was, let's get rid of all nonprofits. He brought up the American Legion. If they wanted to do some work on washing the tombstones, we didn't want to be in that position.
Is this public comment?
This is the comment, but from the board.
Yeah,
This is comment
I
from the
think we're done
board.
with public comment, and I wanted to make this statement, and that's what I asked, that's what I said.
I
Said trustees can
just
talk when they
was
want.
surprised that it wasn't just added as an agenda item. But go ahead.
Well, it was an agenda item last month, and that's what the reason I said I brought it up, because I wanted everybody to know this is what we do, this is how we spend our money. And I have a problem with it because it wasn't cemetery business. Now I find, and you can pass these out for us here, but we spend a lot more money than just on those. Weren't just the 3, but they are the main 3. Over the last 5 years, we spent over $90,000 on nonprofits. And when we had our August meeting, I have to say, we talked about, when we had that vote, we talked about, can we go ahead and give this money to Economic Development, Chamber of Commerce, this and that. And this young lady right here, Maureen Hurley, asked our lawyer, is this even legal to do this? And he said, yes, other entities do it. And so we went ahead and voted, and we went ahead and did it. And I didn't vote for it, everybody else did. Then the audit committee gets a hold of Darren and tells him this is unconstitutional. So I guess where I'm at is our attorney, he gave us the wrong information. We pay him a lot of money. Does he say, hey, that's my mistake? I'll go ahead and cover that $11,000.
Well, Dean, if the attorney isn't here to
I realize-
defend whatever it is.
Well,
you want to accuse him of,
I realize that. I realize that.
Yeah, we've got a page of numbers.
Yeah,
that
well,
doesn't mean anything
yeah.
because it's
You
not-
just, I'm talking, and I'd like you to just be quiet, because I did that for you. My point is, whether this is legal to do this or not, it's not right to be given money to nonprofits that have absolutely nothing to do with cemetery business. And I know when, a year ago,
Dean, we spent an hour on
you know
this.
what, I'm talking, Jim.
I'm talking now.
No, you're not. I'm not done.
We
When
need
I'm
to
done,
we
you
have
can talk.
other business.
When I'm done, you can talk.
We have other
Okay,
business.
now, Steve brought up, I know a year ago, that, hey, I want to deal with black and white. And I remember our lawyer said, he kind of laughs and says, well, all I ever deal with is gray. And I understand that, but the what is black and white is maintenance and beautification of our cemetery, not getting over into the weeds as far as we can help this one out or we can help this one out and that kind of thing. And so that's what we need to stay on. And we need to hear feedback from the public like we have here. And that's what we're here for. And when the statement was made also in our last meeting, well, there's only about 20 people that have a problem with this, and there's 40,000 in town. Well, you can make the same statement up there when we have our concerts. Well, there's only 100 people in there and 40,000 in town. Does everybody really want that? I think these people have a right to say what they think, and if they don't like the concerts, I think that's fine. Let them go ahead and make that point, and maybe that is something we could reconsider. And that's the whole thing. Reason I brought that up with the marketing committee is how much money does it really cost to have those concerts? And we have the marketing committee. We spend an awful lot of money on that. If you break that down to the 6 weeks, we probably spend $5,000 to $7,000 per weekend to have the concerts up there if we're figuring the marketing committee and the newspaper that we advertise for too. That's what I'm saying is let's go ahead, instead of just saying, I want this, let's say, how much is this really costing us? And is it really benefiting the city when we have the concerts downtown on Thursday night? That's what my point is. And I like to hear what the people have to say. I ask them, and the only reason I ever blew this thing up and put it in the paper is because I was getting nowhere with us talking about it here. Everybody else seemed to be in favor of it, and I thought it is not right, and I didn't know how legal or illegal, but it is not right to be spending money that's made, that was given to us, that we asked for beautification and maintenance of the cemetery, to whoever comes in. And Jim, you made that comment to me, is, well, the only reason we went to these three is because nobody else asked. That is not good. That is not even sensible. And then the letter that you said you'd rather send it to economic development than our little shack or whatever however you stated it in the paper there, in your letter, what we're doing in Wright. I mean, that's what we're here for, is to do a project like in Wright. And it costs more money because we had to go travel, everything's got to go 40 miles from here down there. And so, it costs $2 million. But we got 40 million, and that's what we're supposed to be doing, beautification and maintenance, and that's what we're supposed to be spending our money on. And that's why, when you write that, I think, what are you even doing on this board, other than just taking money from us and handing it out to whoever? So, that's where I'm at.
Finish line, Dean.
What?
Jim, that's out of that, not this.
Wow.
Nope, it's not, but that's what I deal with, and now you know.
Yep, exactly.
So do we have a motion to go into executive session?
Make a motion, we go into executive session.
For the purpose of discussing real estate, is that
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
With guests, Darren, do you want me there too?
Yes.
And Mark?
I think Mark left.
Oh, he's out here.
Always in there.
So do we have a second?
I have a question before you go into executive session concerning Mount Nebo. How many of those 200 acres are usable? I know you can't bury people in coal, and I know there's some coal seams out there. So how many acres of Mount Nebo is usable to bury people?
What was the number? It was 23 acres where the coal was within 10 feet of the surface.
Yes.
This is supposed to be about 150 that's supposed to be good, isn't it? On the back end.
Yeah, I don't know the numbers. I know your cemetery will, fully developed, will take 70 acres of the,
Yeah.
but that would be where the burial buildings and stuff is located.
Right.
70 acres, did you say? Out of the 200?
Well, for burial, so not roads and all, you know, just where.
Yeah, kind of the
actually-
areas, yeah, the
Yeah.
roads will go in and out.
Okay, once we were told they were gonna put a park at one end with an amphitheater so they could have concerts there. Is that still in play? That you're gonna have
There's
party
gonna
zone
be-
down here?
There's gonna be a lot of open space, obviously, because the cemetery won't be 200 acres. It'll just be open space.
But
Trees
they
and
said they
trails.
were gonna have concerts and stuff out there too.
I've never participated in any conversations about that far down the road.
Yeah, I remember that.
Just a suggestion for
I haven't.
unused, just, do a mausoleum on all the unused where you can't bury. I think that would be respectful. I know I'm off key or whatever, but I think that would, if you guys considered, the board would consider, mausoleums, that would be pretty inexpensive, so.
Do you ever have public meetings for comment on development of Mount Nebo and getting suggestions and a planning session for Mount Nebo?
We did when we did the master plan for it.
Yeah.
We did several.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we just haven't done,
Yeah, that was in 2018.
yeah.
So before you start development, will you have another,
Yeah, well, yeah, there's, I
Planning
mean,
station?
the master plan is not, what they're actually gonna build is not,
Now,
we're
it's
still at a
stone right now.
20,000 foot elevation. We haven't waded into any of the weeds as far as, I mean, we know about how wide the roads are gonna be, but we haven't laid out lots and blocks and don't know what the buildings are gonna look like. We
but
just
you've
know
planted
what-
trees and that sort of thing?
The development of that property is scheduled to take 10 years. And part of that is to start with the trees out front and then to phase it over a 10-year period.
Do you have city water out there or do you have private well?
Well, we're anticipating both.
Yeah, I appreciate the questions. Yeah, motion, was there a second on the, going into the executive session?
I second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.